Danger in the Sky, Lesson 8. As soon as the jet took off from Cincinnati, the pilot sensed trouble. One of the plane's engine was losing power. Then a second engine stopped dead. There was no way the jet could go on. So, on February 22, 1999, the pilot turned around and landed fast. No one on the plane was hurt, but it was a close call. A year and a half later, a jet took off from Los Angeles. There were 449 passengers on board. People on the ground heard a loud noise. They saw flames shoot from the plane. Parts of one engine fell to the ground. The pilot knew the jet might soon catch on fire, so he dumped most of the plane's fuel over the ocean. Then he made a quick landing. Once again, no one was hurt. In Philadelphia that same month, one jet never got off the ground. As the plane was about to take off, one of its engines failed. By then, the plane was going very fast. The pilot knew he was in big trouble. He slammed on the brakes. The plane stopped so fast that 9 tires blew out. What caused these problems? In all 3 cases, the answer was the same: birds. In the first case, the jet hit a flock of about 400 birds. In the next case, the jet engine sucked in a large bird. In the third case, 30 geese hit the plane. Large jets are not the only ones in danger. Birds hit small planes and helicopters too. In 2001, a helicopter was on its way to a Missouri hospital. A heart patient was on board. Suddenly, a duck smashed through the pilot's window. The flying glass hurt the pilot. He managed to land safely. The heart patient got quite a shock. The dead duck landed right in the patient's lap. Most of the time, birds don't cause too much harm to planes, but they can ruin engines. They can harm a plane's body. They can even kill people. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. One of the worst accidents with birds and planes occurred in Anchorage, Alaska. The date was September 22, 1995. The jet was a U.S. Air Force plane. It had 4 jet engines. The $200 million plane had a fine safety record. But on this day, trouble began right away. As the plane gained speed to take off, something went wrong. People on the ground saw the trouble begin. Flames shot out of one engine. A burst of sparks followed. Still, the plane lifted off. The plane banked left, but then it lost power and dove straight down. The jet crashed into the woods just beyond the airport. A giant ball of fire rose into the sky. All 24 people on board died. Experts later found the jet had flown into a flock of geese. 5 of those birds had been sucked into the 2 left engines. It was simply a matter of bad luck. If the jet had taken off a few seconds earlier, it would have missed the birds. If it had taken off a few seconds later, it would have missed the birds. The problem of birds and planes is a good example of friend or foe. Many people love birds. They want to protect them. Birds tend to live near low, wet land. This is just the kind of land used for airports. Airports are built on low, wet land because most good dry land has already been used for homes and businesses. Birds find plenty of feeding grounds near airports. There are large pieces of land set aside for wildlife. Golf courses, parks, and lawns offer sweet grass that birds love. So in many cities, the number of birds has grown. Take Anchorage for an example. Once there were just a few hundred geese in this city, but by 1996, the number was close to 5,000. One pilot admitted his airplane hit birds quite a bit. Even Alaskans in cars had trouble. Sometimes there were so many geese in the road that all cars had to stop. The deaths of the 24 people on the Air Force jet forced Alaska to act. There were just too many birds. Alaskans took several steps. They captured young birds and moved them to distant spots. They got rid of the sweet grass in parks. They put in plants that geese do not like to eat. And they set up horns around the airport. These horns could be blasted to scare away any birds that got too close. If that didn't work, airport workers shot at the birds. By 2002, the number of geese in Anchorage was down to 1,500. Alaskans had made the air safer for planes as well as birds. In other places, the danger remains high. Experts say each year birds and planes hit each other more than 2,000 times. That doesn't make the friendly skies sound so friendly after all.